Namaskar, hello and a very warm welcome viewers. You're watching the special presentation of Sunset TV, Bills and Insight, your one-stop destination for views, news and analysis of proposed legislations of India that have far-reaching implications and impact your life. I'm your host, Kriti Mishra, and today the spotlight is on the Limited Liability Partnership Amendment Act of 2021. LLP is an alternative corporate body form to traditional partnership firms. Under LLP, a partner's liabilities are limited to their investment in the business. The amendment converts certain offences into civil defaults and changes the nature of punishment for these offences and aims to facilitate ease of doing business and encourage startups across the country. Let's take a look at the highlights of the amendment. The amendment seeks to decriminalize certain offences and increase flexibility with regard to compounding of offence. The amendment also provides for the formation of small LLPs in line with small companies as provided in the Companies Act. The amendment seeks to empower the central government to establish or designate special courts for the conduct of trials relating to offences under the 2008 LLP Act. So what are the amendments to the Limited Liability Partnership Act of 2008? Let's take a look at this comparative analysis. The Act of 2008 specifies the manner of operation of LLPs and provides that violating these requirements will be punishable with a fine. There were 24 penal provisions, 21 compoundable and 3 non-compoundable ones. The amendment decriminalizes 12 of these offences. The Act states that the central government may direct an LLP to change its name on certain grounds, such as the name being undesirable or identical to a trademark pending registration. Failing to comply with such direction is punishable with a fine ranging from 10,000 to 5 lakh rupees. The amendment removes some of these grounds and empowers the central government to allot a new name to such an LLP instead of levying a fine. Under the Act, if the partners carry out an activity to defraud their creditors, the punishment was of imprisonment up to 2 years and a fine between 50,000 to 5 lakh rupees. The amendment increases the maximum term of imprisonment from 2 years to 5 years. Under the Act, non-compliance with an order of the National Company Law Tribunal is punishable with imprisonment up to 6 months and fine up to 50,000 rupees. The amendment removes this offence. The amendment also provides for formation of a small LLP where the contribution from partners is up to 25 lakh and may be increased up to 5 crore. The turnover for the preceding financial year is up to 40 lakh and may be increased up to 50 crore. The central government may also notify certain LLPs as startup LLPs as recognized through notifications. And for deeper understanding of these amendments, I'm joined by an illustrious panel of guests. So we have with us Mr. KVR Murthy, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. He's joining us through virtual platform from the National Capital. And in the studios, we have with us Ms. Survi Devra, founder, CareerGuide.com. She's a well-known entrepreneur. Welcome to Sunset TV, both of you, and thank you so much for joining us. And also in the studio, we have with us a very vibrant audience. Some of them are students and some of them are budding entrepreneurs. I welcome all of you on Sunset TV. And before we commence our discussion, let's take a look at how our parliamentarians debated this bill.
मैं इस बिल का समर्थन करता हूं। Cooperative banks are easily accessible to the people of living in villages. It can be excluded from that bill. I support this welcome in the bill. Thank you.
This is a very timely bill. It will help the startups. It will also help a lot of these limited liability partnerships which are professionals, chartered accountants, cost accountants. All of them will benefit by ease of doing business and also by removing the criminality.
And Mr. Murthy, let me commence the discussion with you. Before we get into the specifics, please help us understand the difference between LLPs and traditional partnership firms for better understanding of these amendments.
Businesses in India are broadly of 4 types. At the lowest level, you have the proprietorship concerns, which are unregistered typically, and they are not very well regulated. Above them are the partnerships which are there. They could be registered or unregistered also. Above them are the limited liability partnerships, and at the highest levels of the corporate governance, insofar as legal provisions go, companies are there. within companies, there are many types of companies, but the limited liability partnership, which we are discussing today, is a hybrid concept between what is traditionally called as a company and what is a largely unregulated kind of partnership in the unorganized sector. So the limited liability partnership is an alternative corporate business vehicle that provides the benefit of limited liability, which is otherwise available to companies, but not available to a unregistered partnership, unincorporated partnership, or an unincorporated proprietary kind of concern, while also giving its members the flexibility and the freedom to organize their internal structure as a partnership based on a mutually arrived at agreement. So the duties, responsibilities, as well as the rights of individual partners can be mutually arrived at in the agreement, and that agreement is also filed on the registry, so as to be available for public consumption. So in that sense, a limited liability partnership is a hybrid concept between a company and a unregistered kind of partnership, and carries with it the benefit of limited liability while simultaneously allowing the flexibility in organizing their internal structure, as well as their duties, responsibilities, and rights as per a mutually arrived at kind of agreement. So typically, LLPs do not have a memorandum of association or an article of association, which is otherwise necessary for incorporating a company, and only a agreement guides all its internal functioning, and the corporate governance framework also can be decided upon between the partners and concluded in the agreement.
All right, so that was the broad understanding of the concept. Ms. Evra, coming to you. Earlier, we did not have a simplified regulatory regime for the LLPs. Now, the fact that we'll have small LLPs in India, they will become a reality. Do you think that this will put LLPs or give a level playing field to the LLPs when compared to the large companies under the Companies Act of 2013?
More than competitive edge, we will have a lot of structure, and a lot of MSME will start coming under this structure. And as a nation, we have real large number of MSME where we don't have enough data also around it. Informal agreements, which keeps coming up, as Sir mentioned about the partnership agreements, which has been informally. So yes, today with LLP structure, all these informal arrangements will start coming up. It will be formally registered, and with all the, all these small things, which sounds more like common sense now when the amendment bills have come in, that basic things which were criminal offenses like not filing returns, etc., are decriminalized. So I believe, yes, this becomes competitive. I can start my business without much regulation, without, as Sir was talking about, I don't need too many shareholding structure, memorandum, article of association, auditing, filing. A basic fixed cost goes in when I'm registering a company, a private limited company. But I can do away with those small expenses, and I can put my energy into running my business, set up a small partnership LLP, which comes with limited liability, because now this partnership firm has its own legal entity. Yes. Individuals, the partners in it, are not abide by something misdoing with other partners. So I believe lot of MSME will start getting into this formal structure.
But that's a very important point that you said about decriminalizing certain offences. Let's get a fair understanding from Mr. Murthy. Mr. Murthy, the bill amends certain sections of the Act so as to convert offences into civil defaults and to convert the nature of punishments to monetary penalties. Take us through important ones that have been decriminalized, sir.
Well, this act is all about taking forward the vision of the Government of India towards creating a more conducive and more enabling kind of environment which allows greater ease of doing business for law-abiding corporates and greater ease of living for the citizens of this country. So the principles which we have used for taking forward this vision is that anything which is minor compliance related kind of a default, which is technical and procedural in nature and which does not involve any element of fraud or intent to deceive or injury to public interest, those kind of defaults, we should not be punishing our corporates and the stakeholders who are associated with them with criminal proceedings against them. So this is a fundamental kind of a principle that the government has been working on. And that is behind the decriminalization which we did with the Companies Act to begin with, and which we have then done with the LLP Act also. And the second principle that we used was that offences which are more appropriate to be dealt with under other laws, for instance, a classic example is the Contempt of Courts Act. And one of the provisions which we have decriminalized by eliminating it altogether in the LLP Amendment Act is the one which related to, as you mentioned some time ago, non-compliance with the orders of the tribunal. So we took the view that when the Contempt of Courts Act provisions are available, there is no specific requirement for another prosecution case to be filed, and the tribunal is very well placed towards invoking its inherent powers of contempt. So that is another principle that we use for. And the third big principle that we used was that those defaults which can involve substantive compliances or fraud or intent to deceive, those we will not touch. So we've essentially decriminalized 14 out of these 21 compoundable offences. 12 of them have been decriminalized and 2 of them have been separately handled. So one out of those 2 we have omitted altogether from the statute. And the other one, we have said that there are alternative mechanisms available. So even that need not be here.
Offences, let's also talk about special courts. Ms. Devra, the fact that this amendment also provides for special court for the trial. We understand that cost of litigation, time of litigation, biggest bet noir of entrepreneurs and startups.
Right.
What is your take on this particular amendment?
This is fantastic news. This is saying and giving a signal that India is ready to ease environment where one can do business. This is in line with aspiration of New India. We cannot really be stuck with small, first of all, the decriminalization itself is amazing. Otherwise, small things like change of address, that was still a criminal offense with earlier law. Now, with special courts, things going to move fast. The business will move fast. Entrepreneurs will be encouraged. Small business owners will be encouraged. Business won't be stuck. So that's a beautiful, beautiful intention put forward. And once implemented, we will really see the fast-paced business environment.
Let's talk about another important in-house adjudication that is, of course, part of this amendment. Mr. Murthy, offences that relate to minor or less serious compliance issues are proposed to be shifted to the in-house adjudication mechanism framework instead of being treated as criminal offences. We understand that the Ministry of Corporate Affairs is also working towards setting up an e-adjudication platform as part of the new version of the MCA 21 portal. Sir, tell us more about that.
Well, all of you would be aware that we already have an internal adjudication mechanism which is already functioning under the Companies Act, wherein the registrar of companies is authorized to adjudicate on these defaults which are of minor procedural and technical nature, which do not involve too much of a subjective assessment of whether the default has taken place or not. So extending that principle which we had implemented in the Companies Act, we have carried this forward to the LLP Act also, so that stakeholders get the predictability that they require, that even if they commit a small technical or procedural kind of default in the normal course of running their business, then there is a easier mechanism which does not involve the stigma of having to go to a criminal court and have criminal charges being framed against them. So it's a very simple mechanism whereby the default is objectively determined, and then the ROC proceeds to adjudicate on that with the levy of a monetary penalty. So there are no criminal charges which are laid out against the LLP or its partners, and with a small rap on the fingers of the LLP, so to speak, they can set right their defaults. The basic fundamental principle is, again, going back to what the government had in mind, is that we would not like the corporates to be punished with serious criminal charges for minor technical defaults. So it's a very well functioning kind of a system which is already prevalent in the companies, for the companies.
Yes.
And we have extended that now to the LLPs also. Going forward, when we launch the MCA 21 version 3, that's the third generation system that we will be launching in a few days from now. We are building an e-adjudication platform whereby the notices will be electronically delivered. The replies to those notices will be again electronically submitted by the stakeholders, and the adjudication will be happening on an e-platform with there being no requirement for a physical attendance of a partner of a LLP,
Yes.
unless if he himself so desires it. So the basic fundamental principle is that physical presence for adjudication will not be mandatory.
Time to take some questions from our budding entrepreneurs present with us in the studio right now. Please go ahead, introduce yourself and speak your mind.
We know that India is seeing a revolution of startups currently. So how does LLP as an act facilitate entrepreneurship more than the traditional partnership?
That reminds my time when I started up and I was debating on what sort of structure I should get through it. The interesting thing is that, as Murthy sir was also talking about, partnership LLP is a hybrid model or hybrid structure where we are talking about partnership firm as well as all the goodness of company, a private limited company. Today, a partnership firm, partnership LLP also becomes a legal identity. That means partners involved into the business or the partners involved into creating this LLP are not responsible for a third partner's fraudulent or promises, and they are, safeguarded from this. This was a very, very beautiful amendment which has come in, and this will really push Isha. Lot of startups, lot of new businesses coming up, going away and thinking of setting a private limited company, which is a sizable effort in terms of time, money, paperwork, compliances, year on year. You must have heard Murthy sir talking about a partnership LLP can be designed by a mutual agreement between partners, but it would have simplicity that you won't have memorandum, you won't have shareholding structures, you won't have article of association. So a quick work, but in the framework where you are safeguarded and you have limited liability. That also means that if business is not doing good, your personal assets cannot be touched.
Ma'am, my question to you is, we saw further categorization within the amendment with regards to small LLPs and startup LLPs. How do you think that these two categorizations will be beneficial, especially for entrepreneurs and people who don't have as much capital in running their business in the new India that we have today?
Sure. Advait, amendment does not really talk much about these changes. Whereas to all the policymakers and Mr. Murthy and all his team, I would say keeping less and less of, categorization would really further ease the entire business process. So yeah, that would be for my side.
Let's take Mr. Murthy's response to that.
Within the LLP framework, we already have a system in place wherein if an LLP has a contribution less than 25 lakhs and a turnover of less than 40 lakhs per annum, there is no requirement for them to get an audit of their accounts conducted on a year-to-year basis. So you would also recall that we already have a concept of small companies in place under the Companies Act. So we wanted to bring in the same kind of concept for LLPs also, because the benefit that we wanted to extend to small LLPs was on the same lines as what we are giving to the small companies, whereby a small LLP will benefit from lesser filing fee, lesser additional fee which is charged if there is any delay in filing of necessary documents. Then, as I explained, if you are a very small LLP, then you don't have the requirement to get your accounts audited on a year-to-year basis. So the costs are much lesser, the compliances are much lesser. Then there is also the benefit for a small LLP that in the event of a default, then the penalty which is charged against the LLP or its partners cannot be more than half of what would otherwise be charged for a similar default to a non-small LLP. So a normal LLP, which is not small, will end up paying double what a small LLP will have to pay in terms of filing fee, in terms of additional fee, in terms of penalty. So there are a number of benefits which will come. And the concept of startup LLP is again leveraged towards helping out our budding entrepreneurs such as you who want to set up their own startup. If you set it up as a LLP and you get yourself registered with the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, then DPIIT as it is called, then you get recognized as a startup LLP. And the day you are recognized as a startup LLP, you start getting the incentives under the LLP Act also.
I hope that allays the concerns of our budding entrepreneurs. I have time for last two questions. Can we please take that together?
We have talked about how this new LLP amendment will help startups. But we also know that big organizations and industries like hospitals are also coming under partnerships, most of them at least. So how will this act help them?
As we know that many sections of the LLP means compoundable offense as well as non-compoundable offenses had been decriminalized. Without the fear or something like that, will the compliance of this, all this section will be feasible as far as my views is concerned?
Mr. Murthy, there's a question on fear of compliance.
I will put it this way that the whole objective of decriminalization is to remove the fear of criminal prosecution for small defaults which have no criminal intent as such. In the case of the LLP Act, earlier every default was punishable only by a criminal case. And a partner of a LLP could be dragged to a criminal court for prosecution, which the registrar would be in a position to file for even small procedural and technical defaults. So the whole purpose of this decriminalization is that the government wants people to focus more on doing their business legitimately instead of having to be afraid of landing up in a soup for even small minor transgressions, which have no intent to commit fraud or something like that. So our intent is that we would like fraud to be punished harshly. So that is reflected in the enhancement of the provision for imprisonment that we have done in this act, whereby if you commit fraud, then you are liable for imprisonment up to 5 years. It used to be earlier only up to 2 years. So we have made the punishment for fraud much harsher than what it used to be. But at the same time, incentivized people to conduct their normal, honest business. So the two-pronged kind of approach is that punish fraud harshly, be strict with people who commit fraud, but at the same time create a more conducive environment, create greater ease of doing business for people who are keen to abide by the law. So I would say that these are the twofold purposes that the government of India had in mind, and these have been achieved through this act. And I would encourage all our youngsters to just go ahead and realize their dreams going forth.
And become a job giver instead of a job seeker. Time for closing comments from both my guests. Ms. Devra, coming to you first.
I think the government and ministry has definitely given us an intent that India is a place where there'll be a lot of growth, a lot of ease of doing business, and there's a lot of inspiration and aspiration flowing from different places. And it also has given intent that let's formalize our informal sectors. Let's bring in more people who are under purview of data, regulations, and fearless where head is held high kind of a atmosphere. So that would be my closing comments.
Mr. Murthy, your response.
I would say this by quoting a little bit of data. 5 years ago, there were less than 1 lakh LLPs in this country. Today, there are about 3 lakh LLPs, and the annual growth in the number of LLPs which are incorporated is between 15 to 20%. So that's a fairly rapid kind of growth. So coupled with the fact that India is one of the most vibrant, has got one of the most vibrant startup ecosystem in this country, and we are in the top 5 economies of the world. I think the message that the government seeks to convey is very loud and clear, that we are here to provide greater ease of doing business for our law-abiding corporates. They need not fear minor transgressions, which could happen in the normal course of conducting business, and they have to focus their energies on building a new India and realizing the vision of the government for a 5 trillion economy at the earliest.
So the concept of small LLP is to create a class of LLPs that are subject to less compliance requirements. A more corporate-friendly approach is reflected in the LLP amendment. On that note, thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Murthy and Ms. Devra. Next week, we'll return with incisive analysis of another important bill. Till then, take care and stay tuned to Sansad TV. Namaskar.